Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Sunday, March 19th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Indiana game is in 167 days. The game against Michigan in 251 days. And today, we're going to be talking to Ohio State's wide receivers, but not the wide receivers who are probably going to be doing most of the work this fall. Emeka, Egbuka, Julian, Fleming, those guys are both out for the spring. Marvin Harrison, well, you heard from him last week. So today, you're going to be hearing from some of the second-year wide receivers. Those are guys who did not maybe contribute as much as some of the previous freshman classes did during their first falls on campus, and are thus, as a result, guys who you probably haven't heard a lot about or from. Today, we're going to fix that. So we're going to start with Kaleb Brown. He is kind of slotted in as the slot receiver in the H position at Ohio State among the guys in that class. And he's someone who you've kind of heard a lot about. And there's a lot of hype around him and a lot of hope around him and how he might develop as a player. But for a couple reasons, he really didn't get on the field all that much last year. One is that he was a high school running back, and so there was a transition there position-wise. And two was he was dealing with some injuries as well, but there is still a lot of hope that he might be an impact player for the Buckeyes moving forward. So let's start with Kaleb Brown. What was that first year as a college football player like for him?
It was crazy. Like I said, I came a long way as far as development mentally and physically, just as a receiver. Because like I said, I play running back. And just making that transition over, just my footwork and everything like that is just a huge shift. And just absolutely, like, really coming off of, like, our winter workouts has been a huge shift. As far as, like, my speed and things like that, I feel way faster. And it's just, even with my, back in the summer when I came down, I had a knee injury. So it's like I didn't really get to like condition and do all the things with the team. So I was really pretty much on a bike and just working out and things like that. But now that I got spring and everything in the books, it's just everything slowed down for me and I feel a lot faster.
We mentioned some of the veteran players earlier in the show, guys who are probably doing a little bit to keep some of these young guys off the field because, well, if you're on a team with Marvin Harrison, it's tough to take snaps away from Marvin Harrison because that means, well, Marvin Harrison's not on the field anymore, and that's not good for anyone, especially Ohio State. So if you can't necessarily get on the field because of some of those veteran guys, can you still learn from some of those veteran guys? What can you learn from someone like Marvin Harrison and his famous work ethic?
Oh, easy, 100%. Like, he's definitely a leader. I mean, just his mentality, that's probably the best thing about him, just his mentality. And the fact that he just falls in love with development. And that's just one thing just to look up to in itself. Just the way he's always here, like pretty much never leaves from here, and just always putting in work. So it's just a mentality thing that I definitely look up to him for.
And one last one from Kaleb Brown here. He was asked, where does he see himself potentially fitting in this offense this fall?
Definitely a four-down player. Somebody that's reliable. You know what I mean? Somebody that can be counted on. And similar to Jackson, honestly. That's probably the best comparison I could put it to, really.
Those freshman wide receivers last year, there were four of them, and they combined for 2 catches for 7 yards. Kaleb Brown had 1 for 5. Kyion Grayes had 1 for 2. So Kojo Antwi still waiting to record his first career catch as a Buckeye. We got a chance to talk to Kojo as well, and he was asked, what is he working on this spring to continue his development?
Everybody's just trying to get better in the receiver room. We're just trying to learn from the older guys and, see how they operate and just learn from them. And then, when they leave, take the field. I mean, when they leave, we'll take over the helm and stuff like that. So spring is just, it's critical for our development so we can get ready for fall as well. So.
It may have come as a little bit of a surprise to have that freshman class only have 2 catches as a group in that freshman year, but Kojo said he knew he wasn't ready to play when he got there. He knew there was still a lot of work to do to move forward and get him ready to be able to play at the college level. So, all right, second season now. How is he feeling about his preparedness now?
There's always room for improvement, so I'm not going to say that I'm ready right now. Like I said, I'm learning from Marvin and X and Mech and Ju and those guys. So, I mean, at this time right now, I'm not saying that I'm ready to, take over, the helm and stuff like that. But as I'm learning over the season and stuff like that, then for sure.
Here's another one from Kojo Antwi. What is the biggest hurdle he's had to clear since he got to Ohio State?
It's just fast. It's faster than high school. It's just really fast. Apart from that, it's just, learning the playbook and try and get signals and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's just fast. So.
You will hear freshmen talk about the speed of the game and adjusting to the speed of the game and adjusting to that jump from being one of, if not the best players on the field in high school to being just another guy who's, as they say, drinking through a fire hose in this freshman year, trying to keep up. So how do you keep up? How do you go about trying to keep up that first year when it just feels like everything is moving way too fast? You're going to hear Kojo's answer on that, and then you're going to hear a follow-up from our buddy Tony Gerdeman.
It's all about mentality. Coach Hart preaches mentality in the receiver room all the time, and like every time we cross that red line, like everything it's nothing but football. So it's all about mentality on the field. So
what happens if you don't have that mentality?
It's not an option. You gotta have it. Whatever you have going on, like outside the woody, like that shit it's just out of the window. You gotta focus on football. So.
Well, if Kojo Antwi did not feel like he really had an opportunity to get on the field because he wasn't ready last year, that opportunity is knocking this spring. Emeka, Egbuka, and Julian Fleming are both out this spring. They'll be back this fall. But right now, there's a lot of snaps open this spring for young guys to maybe show the coaches that they deserve a bigger role this fall. So what is that opportunity like this spring to not only prepare for this season, but especially for next year when Emeka and Julian and potentially Marvin Harrison as well, all three of those guys could be gone with all three wide receiver spots open for new starters next year.
Like I said, I'm just trying to prepare this whole season, take it step by step, and learn from the older guys. Like, obviously, they're gonna be starters here this year, but I mean, it's a process. Like, it's a process here, and you come to Ohio State to be developed. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And the third young wide receiver you're going to be hearing from today is Kyion Grayes. He had one catch for 2 yards last year. The biggest challenge last year, what was that for him? What was his biggest challenge, biggest hurdle he had to get over last season? You're going to hear his answer, and then a quick follow-up question from Stephen Means of Cleveland.com.
I'd say the speed. It was a lot faster, and I mean, I thought I was prepared mentally, but looking at it now, like, I've changed a lot, and I feel a lot better, like, going out there, and I feel more comfortable being in that offense.
So about what point in the season did that start to click for you?
I'd say bowl practice. It started to really hit, and like them long weeks there, that long month we had of practice, that's when I really started to change and like felt my body and the plays and my mental.
Kyion Grayes is someone that they have slotted in as the Z receiver. That's kind of the outside. Essentially, think of that as the Devin Smith kind of role, the fast guy who runs a straight line down the field and gets a bunch of deep balls thrown his way. That's kind of the stereotypical use of the Z receiver in the Ohio State offense. And Kyion Grayes has said he thinks of himself as one of the fast guys, but he's also had to add some muscle to bulk up. He said there were points during the practice last year where he got hit and he knew he needed to add some more bulk. So he's now up 10 pounds from 175 to 185 this year. And contrary to what you might think, he thinks it's actually made him faster.
Yeah, it makes you want to lift harder. It makes you want to eat more. Like, the first time you get hit, you're like, dang, like, how am I supposed to do this at 175? Like, I got to get bigger. So, I mean, what Coach Mick and them are doing has really helped me a lot and it's built me.
You heard earlier about some of the older wide receivers who might be kind of blocking the path to the field for these younger guys. But again, that's an opportunity for these guys because you get a chance to not only watch Marvin Harrison make incredible plays on Saturday, but also watch all the other stuff that guys like Marvin Harrison are doing, working with guys, seeing how they put the work in practice, seeing how they put the work in the film room, in the weight room. So this is what it takes to get to where those guys are right now. So what is that like in that wide receiver room, working with guys who are going to be playing on Sunday at a very high level very soon?
I don't know how to explain it. It's more of like you just got to be here to see it. Like to witness Marv, to witness Xavier, to witness JB, Emeka, Julian, like to see all these people, like the way Coach Hart put it is like we're trying to be with them. We're trying to get with them. And for me, like you just have to witness it to see it.
When you were a football player at Ohio State, it pretty much automatically means you were the best football player on your team in high school, the best football player maybe in your county in high school in most cases, and in a lot of cases, the best football player in your state in high school. Ohio State tends to bring in multiple Gatorade Players of the Year in a bunch from out of a bunch of different states pretty much every year. But then you get to Ohio State, you get to college football, high-level Big Ten football, and boy, it's a little different because everyone around you was at that level in high school, and now you're just one of the guys. You're no longer the superhuman guy who can do things that no one else on the field can. So how soon does that reality hit when you become a college football player that you're no longer Superman, you're just one of the guys, and now you got to figure out how to work with that?
I don't know. It kind of started in spring for me. Like when I first got here, like it's either you're going to do it or you're not. And if you're not going to do it, then you're not going to be out there. And so that's kind of like when you start to realize you're like, I got to get on top of it. I got to start doing my stuff. And like I said before, if you're not going to do it, you're not going to be out there.
So that will do it for Kyion Grayes and also Kojo Antwi and also Kaleb Brown. Hope you guys enjoyed hearing from those guys. Those are three guys who kind of get lost a little bit. There are 85 scholarship players on this team, and we tend to spend an awful lot of time talking about maybe 30 or so of them, basically the starters, some key backups, that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of other guys working behind the scenes and trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to become some of those 30 or so very important players during one of the future seasons. So it's always nice during spring when we get a chance to talk to some of those other guys on the team, give you a little update on them, and just sort of let you see, here's what these guys look like, here's what these guys sound like, because they are players. They are not just creative characters in the NCAA video game. These are students. They are players. They are people. So good to kind of get to know these guys a little bit as well. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I kind of like these shows when it's not just the same guys over and over again. So hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.